At the start of the tale, we see a killer who struck a man with a blade and ended his life with great slyness. But the killer didn't stop there. He went straight to his next victim. She was a woman who was fixing her makeup in the car. She thought maybe her husband had returned, but she didn't know that doom was waiting for her. A girl standing near this terrible event saw it with her own eyes. The next morning, the police received a report. 2 bodies with their heads lowered were found in a black car. Detective Sam quickly arrived there and began thinking that the way of killing was the same. This was done by a certain man, but his team convinced the detective that this man was under our watch all night. He had no chance to kill. He's locked in jail. If he can't get out, how could he kill anyone? But for some reason, Sam couldn't believe this, and he called the suspect Ron for questioning. Ron didn't answer a single question. His boldness was deeply upsetting Sam, but there was no proof against him, so the questioning was just a routine. On the way, Ron bumped into a young girl. His true dangerous nature showed for a moment, but he quickly calmed himself. He thought it wouldn't be smart to act this way in a police station, but he didn't know this was the same girl who saw the crime the previous day. The girl didn't say anything either. She just watched Ron very closely. Years ago, Ron and his partner grew up together in an orphanage. They had a special bond. Both were cruel inside. They enjoyed harming animals with their own hands. As they grew older, their wish to kill humans grew. And for them, it became a game. After this, the story goes back. Years ago, a detective was chasing them tirelessly. He would do anything to catch them. One night as he was heading home, he suddenly got a sharp hit to his neck. Soon blood began flowing out and he fell and somehow reached his daughter. This little girl is the one who saw the murder the other day. Her name is Hee-joo. Soon Sam arrived to celebrate his birthday cake with his partner and a very close friend. But seeing this scene, his heart shook. He saw that his companion was already dead. His daughter Hee-joo was still sitting beside him. That innocent girl didn't even know her father was dead. She was just waiting for him to wake up so they could celebrate his birthday together. Seeing this, Sam felt deep pain in his heart. He thought there was no clue about the killer. Maybe he would escape. But soon he was caught. He was tried in many cases. Ron had killed 7 people in a few months, but evidence was found only for 1. That's why he was sentenced to only 15 years. The victim's family couldn't understand this decision. Sam was angry that this beast would be freed in 15 years. That day he decided he would seek revenge. Since then, revenge burned in his heart. He swore he would make Ron pay for his crimes. Seeing all this, little Hee-joo had carved the killer's face in her mind forever. But while everyone was grieving, they missed one man, who was hidden in the shadows. Only Ron knew that the one who betrayed him and sent him to jail was his old close friend. Actually, both had fallen in love with one girl. Now Ron's girlfriend was cheating on him with his friend. When Ron found out, he went wild with rage and brutally killed that girl. Later, Ron planned to take revenge on his friend, but his friend John was 2 steps ahead. He framed Ron and sent him to jail. Now, after 15 years, Ron was released from jail, and the first person he faced was Sam, who was ready to send him back to jail this time. It was clear that Sam hadn't forgotten the incident from 15 years ago, but Ron was still not ready to admit his crime. That's why Sam ordered his team to watch Ron 24 hours a day. After all this, Sam told everyone to hand over all their 500 rupee notes, and he secretly kept all that money with him. A new officer thought our boss was taking money from us. But his doubt ended when Sam gave a thick envelope to a girl. This girl was none other than Hee-joo, now grown up. Hee-joo, who had been an orphan for the last 15 years, never stayed in an orphanage. For the past 15 years, the entire police department had been raising Hee-joo like this. As Hee-joo grew, she became a wise and kind girl. Everyone at the station thought she was very sweet and hardworking. Every police officer at the station treated her like their own daughter. At this time, Hee-joo had also been watching her mother, the mother who had left her. She felt both love and hatred for her mother in her heart, but still she couldn't bear to see her mother in pain. Her stepfather, who often beat her mother, she couldn't stand him. Tears welled up in Hee-joo's eyes. What she didn't know was that Hee-joo never forgot her father's murder. The moment she heard Ron was released from jail, she began her revenge plan that she had made for years. She started watching Ron, but one night she sensed John's presence. She saw that John's killing method was very similar to Ron's. Then a new plan formed in her mind to frame Ron for John's murders. But things didn't go as planned. That's why she focused on her next step. She decided she would kill her stepfather, the man who had tortured Hee-joo's mother for years. Hee-joo had seen her mother suffer so much that she couldn't take it anymore. Now she thought she would use her stepfather to frame Ron. Hee-joo had been watching Ron and knew that Ron woke early every morning and went jogging in the park. She decided she would drag the body to the park so Ron would fall directly under suspicion. Because he already had a criminal record, when Ron arrived there, he was shocked to see how the man died. He recognized it was done in his own style. Someone was copying him, and because of this, the police would now follow him. He felt the real killer was hiding nearby. And soon he saw a person standing far away. Ron quickly began chasing him. But that person also started running fast from there. Ron was taller than that person, and he ran about 10 kilometers daily. But despite this, the small person quickly escaped from there and soon vanished from Ron's sight. This person was none other than Hee-joo. She wanted to see how fast Ron was, so she could make her revenge plan even better. Soon, one murder after another began happening. Everyone's style was similar to Ron's old style, but the police found no solid proof that Ron did it. Out of anger, Sam decided to confront Ron again. He found him eating noodles in a restaurant. Seeing this, Sam's anger grew even more. Enraged, Sam threw a whole pot of chili into Ron's bowl, but Ron didn't react at all. He continued eating calmly, and after finishing, he told Sam, "This won't bring your partner back to life, right?" The law had no way to catch him, but Ron's boldness and stubbornness were fueling Sam's anger. Sam thought, "If I kill him, I'll go to jail." But it wasn't that simple. Later at his house, Ron felt someone slowly opening the door. He immediately turned off his phone. It was none other than Ron's old friend John. Both knew each other's moves well. That's why a silent fight began between them. John didn't say anything because he knew Ron would watch his every step. As soon as he began opening the door, Ron stabbed him. And when John tried to knock on the door, Ron quickly stabbed him again. Even after years in jail, Ron's aim was perfect. With this act, John began wondering if it was wise to fight him directly. But the real shock for Ron was when another guest arrived. It was none other than Sam. As soon as he saw Ron, Sam's anger surged. He suspected Ron was planning a new crime, but Sam didn't know someone was watching him too. Two eyes sharp like a blade. As soon as Sam's attention shifted from Ron, he felt something was wrong. Sam sensed someone behind him. He quickly turned and chased Ron, but no one was there. After a while, we see Hee-joo was sitting on the roof of the building opposite her mother's house, quietly watching her mother. But something was different today. There was complete silence at her mother's house. She felt something was wrong. Now Hee-joo decided to go to her mother's house bravely, but there she found her mother's body. She was completely broken after her second husband's death. And she died in this grief, seeing her loved ones die one by one. Hee-joo's heart, already full of hatred, was now filled with rage. She held Ron responsible for everything in her mind. That's why punishing Ron was vital. But after learning about the other killer, John Hee-joo grew suspicious. When Hee-joo reviewed Ron's old case files, she realized the killer wasn't alone. Perhaps they were working together back then. Their methods were very similar. Hee-joo quickly pulled the records of that man. At night, she quietly waited for him to return. When the man came home, he saw the electricity was out. Suddenly, while searching for candles in the dark, something sharp touched his feet. When he looked down, there were broken glass pieces on the floor. As the light flickered and glowed, he looked up. Hee-joo was standing there waiting for him. He asked, "Who's there?" Hee-joo had placed wires among the glass pieces, so they could be used when needed. Using her clever mind, she easily caught the killer. After this, Hee-joo quietly picked up the body and knew where to hide it. On Ron's bed. When Ron lay down to rest, he felt something strange. As soon as he lifted the blanket, he was stunned. He saw a dead body lying on the bed. A dog chain was tied around its neck. The most shocking thing was that this body wasn't someone else's, but John's. Someone had cruelly killed him and left him there. While Ron was trying to understand what happened, Hee-joo suddenly leaped from behind and attacked him. She strangled Ron with another dog chain, not to kill, but to make him unconscious. She wanted to show there was a fight between these two killers. And then Ron killed John. This way, Ron would be caught for the murder and the police would arrest him. But it didn't go as she thought. Ron woke up a bit early. When the police arrived, they saw a dead body in the room, but Ron wasn't there. They only found a clue: fresh blood on the bed. Sam saw the blood still warm and he realized Ron hadn't escaped far. He was in this building. He immediately ordered the hotel to be locked and began checking every room. Then the police saw something strange in another room. A man and a woman were lying in a bathtub covered in blood. The surprising thing was they were both alive. The police quickly sent them to the hospital. When the nurse came to and spoke to the woman, fear was clearly visible on her face. She was looking around in terror, trying to give some hint, but the nurse thought she was in shock. Ron was quietly threatening her to stay silent. With this move, Ron got a chance to slip out of the hotel quietly. He also got an opportunity to kill innocent people again. Meanwhile, Sam at the crime scene began wondering how Ron escaped. Then he saw a blood mark under the bed. As soon as he lifted the mattress, he discovered the man living in this room was lying dead there. Ron had already left without leaving any trace. After completing her plan, Hee-joo thought that even if Ron wasn't caught, he was now a wanted killer. Now the matter would resolve itself. She could focus on chasing her dreams. But when she saw the newspaper headline, she was shaken. The police had decided Ron wasn't the killer. They found no solid evidence against him. Actually, orders came from above to clear Ron's name because they didn't want the police to seem unable to catch one man. People would say they couldn't catch a killer. Sam was very unhappy about this. Hearing this, Hee-joo was deeply upset. She had decided she would ensure this monster was punished for his crimes. On the other hand, Ron knew the police couldn't harm him, but to prove his innocence, he had to find out who kept accusing him. Ron went to an internet cafe to find clues. It didn't take long to learn that the man in the park was the second husband of the woman he had killed years ago, and there was also a daughter of that police officer. As soon as he learned her age and height, he realized she was the same girl who attacked him. Knowing this, his mind burned with anger. At this moment, he was smoking in the cafe. When the cafe owner approached him, Ron threw him out. The owner realized he shouldn't mess with this man. He recalled the police were looking for someone like this, so he called the police directly. Sam was nearby, so he went there immediately, but by then Ron had left the cafe. Only a half-burned cigarette remained by the computer. The cigarette was still warm, so Sam knew Ron was close. Without wasting time, he drew his gun and told everyone to stand by the wall. He began checking each person one by one, but Ron, hiding in the crowd, suddenly slapped Sam and attacked him. He quickly escaped and ran outside. And on the way, he bumped into a police officer. The officer was still on duty, so he hesitated to shoot. Meanwhile, Ron stabbed a knife into his chest, but he didn't kill him. He knew killing a police officer in Korea would cause big trouble. Then they would hunt me like dogs. That's why he patched up the officer a bit so he could escape. Then he went straight to the police station in Sam's car. Seeing the car, the guards saluted him directly. For him, the most dangerous place became the safest. His real goal wasn't to return the car. In fact, he had come to get Hee-joo's address. By chance, Hee-joo was also at the station. She saw Ron sneaking inside, but instead of alerting the officers, she stayed quiet, because she knew if he was caught sneaking into the police station, he wouldn't be jailed for life. He would come out again in a few years. Now Hee-joo made her final plan. She knew Ron would fool the police and get the address easily, and then she would be his target. Now Ron began entering the house, using the knife as usual. But as he moved forward, the motion detector lights suddenly went out, and a shadow began moving toward him slowly. When the two faced each other, they attacked each other. Hee-joo thought, "Today I felt the same fear my father must have felt when he was stabbed." Soon Ron admitted, "Yes, I killed your father." Angry, Hee-joo attacked him and then began running away from there. Ron was surprised that even after being stabbed, this girl was running like that. Seeing her escape, Ron decided not to let her go. The next second, Ron began chasing her. But the strange thing was that Hee-joo didn't head to the crowded city streets, but went toward a desolate hill. It would be very easy to kill her there. Soon Ron caught her and was about to kill her. And then she fled from there again. Along with that, she called Sam. "Ron is after my life. Come quickly." Soon Ron caught Hee-joo, but this time he didn't do anything. Ron knew this girl was raised by the police. He wasn't going to kill her. Instead, he wanted to gather evidence against Hee-joo, frame her, and clear his name. After a while, when Ron reached a park on the hill, he saw Hee-joo swinging there calmly. She had a firm look in her eyes. She took out her scarf and deliberately threw it in front of Ron, and then said, "Give it to Sam." At that moment, Ron thought Hee-joo was crazy. Hee-joo had the same dog collar tied around her neck. Ron didn't understand what was happening. Then suddenly, police sirens began approaching. Then Hee-joo tied the chain to her collar and began swinging fast. She looked at Ron and said, "Now your game is over. You'll spend your whole life in jail." Swinging fast, she suddenly let go of the swing. As she released her hand, the chain tightened sharply, and in a single jolt, Hee-joo's throat broke. She died, and her death was blamed on Ron. At that moment, a large police team arrived. They saw Hee-joo hanging and Ron standing in front. Now they needed no evidence. Ron was immediately arrested. But seeing Hee-joo's lifeless body, Sam was completely broken. After this, we see that Ron is being punished, as Hee-joo wanted. And as soon as Detective Sam goes to Hee-joo's house, he finds out that all this was Hee-joo's plan. But he doesn't tell anyone about it because he himself wanted to get Ron punished. This was the story of a revenge that ruined many lives. And with this, the movie ends here.